Alderman Marshall. Here. Alderman Frazier. Alderman Henderson. Here. Alderman Telford.
Present.
Alderman Mosley. Here. Alderman Atkins. Here.
Okay, we have 5 members present, so we do have a quorum. Appreciate that. Item 4, everybody got their agenda. Item 4, we have 2 sets of minutes that need to be acted upon. January the 8th, 2024, a special meeting of January the 25th.
I move that the minutes for January the 8th be approved and the special call meeting minutes for January the 25th. Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any question, discussion, correction to the minutes, either set? All those in favor of approval of both, show of hands, please. I see 5 votes in favor, 1 absent. City Clerk, got your financial report. Would you briefly go over that, see if we have any questions? This is for January of 2024.
Administrative expenses were $44,443.75. Law enforcement was $164,047.40. Fire, $61,657.29. Sanitation, $90,007.91. Building codes, $2,215.70. District Court, $10,265.79. Municipal Building, $487.85. Recreation, $13,731.59. Cultural Center was $224.72. Armory was $1,537.25. Shooting range, $4,018.94. Senior Citizen Center was $53.49. Other expenses were $669. Airport was $9,054.12. Economic Development was nothing yet. Zero expenses yet. And street was $38,430.65.
Council members, of course, those are just the totals. You've got all the line item breakdowns there. Anybody have any question? But we do need to act on it.
Move that we approve the statement of revenue and expenditures as presented by the city clerk. Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion or question of any kind?
Question.
Yes, sir.
On that senior citizen center, are they still utilizing it for the senior citizens? I see the cost is way down on it.
Yes, sir. Now, that's just the expenses that we, legally, we own the building because of a grant. But of course, it is managed by the Area Agency on Aging, and they cover most of the operating expenses. We just have a few expenses like repairs or something like that we have to take care of in a nutshell.
So no matter how many go through, our costs stay the same?
Basically, yes.
All right.
Any other question? All in favor of approval, show of hands. I see 5 in favor, 1 absent. And go ahead with the others. City sales tax and cash balances are all there.
Right,
Getting
the
that.
city sales tax for January was $89,462.04. And the county sales tax was $62,094.25.
For the same time last year, we were up in both for the month of January. Y'all can see all of that there. All right. And you got the cash balances there, so all that information's there for your review as you have time. District Court, we got that also, correct?
Yes, sir.
So y'all got that, so you got any questions on any of the financials, please let us know. If we don't know the answer, we'll get you the answer for it. Alright, we're gonna go down the mayor's report. I'm obviously gonna try to move as rapidly, but don't let me run by you. You got a question or something you need to talk about. Item number 1 is the 2024 council procedures. And as I've informed the council, I don't think we've ever done this over the years. But according to the Municipal League, we're supposed to be doing this in January of each year. Well, we wasn't ready in January, so we've put together just some simple procedures, basically doing what we're doing right now for our city council meetings, and I went ahead and put the committees for the year in here, even though you've already approved those. And we need a motion and a vote to approve this or make any changes you feel like need to be made. I was asked a question at the agenda meeting, I think, about the item number 1, judging the qualifications of your members. That is apparently required by law after each election, which means it should have been done back in 2023 when everybody was elected to their current terms. It's not something you gotta do every year, but just after the election. And apparently you are supposed to vote that everybody's eligible to be seated as a council member. That's why that's in there. That came directly from the Municipal League. Never been brought up by our auditors or anything ever that I know about, but that's what they say the law is. So I present that to you for your actions.
Move that we approve the procedures and adjust as deemed necessary in the future.
Motion's made and seconded. And yes, you can change these anytime you want to. Anytime you want to, you can change anything. All right, got a motion second. Any other discussion? All in favor, show of hands. I see 5 in favor. Thank you very much. All right, the 2023 annual report. Now, I think in your packets, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time, this is all of the department heads and different departments' annual reports. I've given you more information than you probably ever will see. Most of it you're going to be familiar with. But I've also got my report. I just got it wrapped up today. Charlotte, can you come hand one of these out to everybody, please? Each council member. This is my summary reports, what this is. I'm also going to make it available to the news media. Just give each one of them one of those and give the news media that's here one of them. And anybody else that wants one, we can certainly provide that. I'm not going to read it to you. Yes, ma'am.
I was just gonna ask if we had put it on our website.
Yeah, that's exactly what I intended to do. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And I'm going to send it out to even media that's not here. I'm going to put it out there, and again, it's really a summary of all the information you've got, just my comments and from the mayor's perspective. So I don't want to spend a bunch of time because we got a lot of other business to conduct, but the bottom line is I feel like we had a fairly productive year. We didn't solve every problem with the city, but I think we have begun to address some things that needed to be addressed. And we got, I think, good reports from the police department, the fire department, sanitation, everything. I mean, I really, still issues to deal with, but just please read through it. If you got any questions for me, privately or publicly, certainly feel free to let me know. But that is required by law, and we want to put that out to you. All right, this is an immediate question. I'm going to move on. Item 3 is our mowing bids for the summer. You've got a copy of that in your packet. You see we bid this out. We got 2 bids. You see the low bid is Mr. Yepes.
Who do we currently have?
I think he did it last year, I believe. Yes.
And work is sufficient?
Yes, ma'am, as far as I know, he's doing what we asked him to do.
Move that we go with the, Carlos Lopez.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Question, discussion. All in favor, show of hands. I see 5 in favor, thank y'all. Now, we're trying to update several of our boards and commissions that have been let flounder a little bit. We've got some vacancies, and for example, item 4, our Fair Housing Commission. Now, this commission's been on the books since the 1970s, somewhere back there. It has not really functioned over the last number of years, and a number of people have gone off of the commission or are no longer around. Actually, Reverend James Hooper is the only currently up-to-date appointed person on that commission. This is a commission that's purpose is to investigate any kind of housing discrimination that might be alleged within the city of Warren. Of course, it follows federal law as well as state law on its purpose. So Mr. Hooper is already a member, and no action required on him. I've got 3 positions that I'm asking you to appoint or confirm. I'm nominating Miss Beverly Marshall, Miss Nora Pacheco, and Miss Jane Harris to the 3 vacancies that are on that commission right now, and I would ask y'all to consider them. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I know that Reverend Hooper is already on the planning, commission. Are the other 3 on any other commission?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay. Then
That I can remember right off, I don't believe so.
Then I move we, approve the mayor's recommendation,
All 3?
all 3. Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any question or discussion on that?
How regularly will they have to meet?
Well, there's really no requirement in the ordinance, but we're gonna try to get them to meet at least quarterly and look at our housing situation and probably, do a little investigation. We're not aware of any particular issues that have been going on. This would be where somebody was not getting a loan because of, maybe there was reasons people in the neighborhood didn't want certain people to be living there. We have no allegations of anything like that going on, but that's the purpose of the commission. And one of the reasons it was originally put in place, I'll be honest with y'all, was that Department of Housing and Urban Development said if we were gonna take part of a lot of their grant money, you're gonna have something like this. That was years ago.
We
Well,
have had some complaints, but we went directly to the director to
Okay.
get clarification.
Well, it's not just the housing authority, it's private, it's realtors, bank loans, anything like that. And I have found that most of these entities very carefully follow the law these days. We haven't had any, to my knowledge, any major issues, but we do want this in place.
I didn't realize, so bank loans from.
Well, if it was alleged that a institution was not loaning money because didn't want to loan to a certain person because of race or whatever the issue might be, to go into a certain neighborhood, maybe property owners are putting pressure on the bank not to do it, those kind of things. Now again, I just don't think you're seeing that because the banks and the realtors and everybody are very cognizant of these laws now, and you just don't see that happen at all. But it could. And this would be a board that would, on the local level, look into it and see if we had some kind of problem going on.
Call for the vote.
All right, final vote, all those in favor of the appointments, show of hands, please. I see 5 in favor, thank you. Obviously, we would keep y'all informed on anything happening there. All right, Aviation Commission, and you don't have this in your packet, but we did get a proposal. I'm sorry.
Adjustment and appeals board appointments.
Yeah, that's next after the aviation, is it not?
Oh, okay.
And you're on the
Probably should have put them back to back, but I didn't, so I'm sorry. Again, I got a handout, and this don't have to be acted upon tonight by any means, because you, Charlotte, I'm gonna make you work.
You sure
Come up here.
Well, you're out.
What'd you say, I sure am?
Tell him, get off my stuff.
Give her respect, see?
Tell him, sorry,
Just
thank
hand
you.
everybody.
Wait, I don't have that in my packet.
No, it's not in there, because Mr. Clayton just recently got it to me, he's been working on it.
Okay.
Let me tell you what that's about. Now, again, this ordinance does not have to be acted upon tonight. If y'all prefer to wait a month and look at it. The aviation ordinance that creates our aviation commission, that's the commission that has the rules and regulation and control of the airport, plus makes a lot of recommendations to y'all on what to do. It was set up many years ago. I can't even remember what year it was, but it's an old ordinance, been there a long time. I believe it's a 5-member body. Well, the way it's worded, it says people cannot be reappointed. And I don't know why that was set up that way. I was led to believe it was a state statute that might, sometimes because state statutes authorize city councils to set up commissions like the aviation. I researched it. I went to the municipal league and they said they don't have a clue why that's written like that. Because there is no state law that says that you have to just make appointments for 1 5-year term. I believe it's 5 years. And so I would like to amend that ordinance because from time to time we want to reappoint people. That's always up to the city council. But I would like to get that corrected.
We've been out of order on
We've
that.
been reappointing.
Well, every year, every 5
Don't
years.
say that out loud again, okay? Yeah. But this'll make us clean at the moment anyway, so. So if y'all wanna go ahead and adopt that, you can. I'm not putting an emergency clause on it, but, or if you wanna wait till next month, and consider it, that'll be fine too. I mean, we're no worse off right now than we were, but we just need to get that straightened out. You have, you wanna do it now, or you wanna?
I don't have a problem with doing it now, and you're sure it says that,
Oh, I'm absolutely sure it says that. I went back and dug it up and read it.
I know that we place ordinance number 954 on this first reading.
I don't think I get me a copy of it. You still got one, Charlotte, or how many we have? I need a copy of it. So- Oh, I got it. I got it. All right, the motion was to put proposed ordinance 954 on its first reading. Is there any question or discussion to put on first reading? All in favor, show of hands. Okay, it's proposed ordinance number 954 to amend ordinance number 214. Tells you how far back it goes. Ordinance number 214 is hereby amended to delete the last sentence of section 2 of ordinance number 214 that prohibits reappointment of any 5-year appointee to the Warren Aviation Commission. Henceforth, any 5-year appointee shall be eligible for reappointment to the commission.
Move that we suspend the rules and place ordinance number 954 on the second reading.
Motion is second, question or discussion? All those in favor of second reading, show of hands. I see 5 in favor. It's proposed ordinance 954 to amend ordinance number 214.
Move that we suspend the rules and place ordinance number 954 on its third and final reading. Second.
Motion and a second. Question, discussion. This is the third final reading. All in favor, show of hands. I see 5 in favor. Proposed ordinance 954 to amend ordinance number 214.
I move that we adopt ordinance number 954. Second.
Second, Alderman Marshall. Motion, this is for adoption. Any question or discussion? All in favor, show of hands. I see 5 in favor. That adopts the ordinance. This is what they used to call in the legislature a cleanup ordinance, okay? That's, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you may. So again, no emergency clause, so that'll have to be published and then go into effect. Thank you. All right, now, adjustments and appeals. I hope you all know what this board is. This is an important board. Again, it don't meet often, but when it does, it's important, because this is the body that would review any kind of challenge of a building code or, and it also has the authority to adjust some codes like setback ordinances and property line ordinances where somebody's trying to build something or remodel something or do something, and it might be 6 inches over the line, but it don't, too close to the line, but nobody's opposed to it. There's a procedure to go through, and this board would act on it. We've got 2 vacancies on it. Again, it hasn't been kept up the way it should. I'm nominating Mr. Randall Rainey and Mr. Dexter Campbell to fill 2 positions that are vacant on that board.
And neither one are on, a commission or anything.
I don't think so, no, ma'am. No.
I move that we accept the, mayor's administration for Randall Rainey and Dexter Campbell to serve on the Adjustment and Appeals Board.
Second.
Motion's made by Councilmember Henderson, seconded by Atkins. Question or discussion?
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
How many people are normally on the board?
Want to say 5. I'd have to go again, look, I believe it's 5. Is that right, Rob? Okay. It kind of falls under Rob's bailiwick, so he keeps up with it better than I do. 5, so.
And these individuals are on the system.
Now, they are on that, but that's not a formal commission or legal body per se, and I thought they would be good ones to serve on it, so. All right, any question or discussion? We got a motion and a second, approve both of them. All in favor, show of hands. See 5 in favor, thank y'all much. All right, next thing, item 7, we got some equipment from the police department that they want to remove from the asset list. Stuff that needs to be done away with. You got it all listed there for you. I simply need a motion to authorize it if you see fit.
They're trying to just remove it from their inventory list. I move that, the city move forward with, removing the items from inventory and disposing of the items.
Okay, motion's so made. Is there a second?
Second.
I'm gonna take Alderman Marshall, I think got in there. It's just another wire on that. Question or discussion on the motion? All in favor, show of hands. 5 in favor. I know this feels like cleanup night, but that's what we're doing. Okay, item 8. I've asked Tanae Reek, the manager of our water and sewer department, of course she works for the commission, but I thought the council, I've asked her to be brief with this, but let y'all ask any questions. We went through a boil order situation recently with our water, and I wanted her to explain exactly what happened and why. Of course, that's over. We're out of that now, but Tanae, would you give an explanation, please?
Sure. Mayor and I talked, and I just wanted to speak to y'all briefly about what started this situation and how everything unfolded. Y'all will probably remember 3 years ago, we were in a very similar situation during winter weather. We went under a boil order then. We basically had the same situation this time. We had so many customers that had water lines that froze when everything started thawing. We're pumping more water than we can treat. Typically during this time of year, we pump around 800,000 to 900,000, and we were doing
Daily.
Daily. And we were pumping 2.2 million. And that was, we did not have any leaks this time. That was all customers. We also wholesale to 3 rural systems, so all of their customers affect that too. I did try to put out a lot of PR on this and keep everything happening, but when it warmed up so fast, it just escalated as far as the water usage. So on Thursday, the 18th, I issued a boil order, and as far as my department, we were riding streets every single day, looking for leaks, worked all weekend looking for leaks, and it took us several days, because there were so many, that we would just kind of find a few every day, and our water would become more treatable, like, on a daily basis. It was just very slow this time.
So how did you get the word out, to the customers?
Well, I can say press releases and roll orders, so we use the city Facebook page, Saline River Chronicle, the Eagle Democrat, and KWR American. The only difference was that with the roll order, we were allowed to use the school system to notify, which notifies all the parents in the system, or anybody that signed up on that, to let them know we were under a roll order.
She followed state law. I mean, exactly, that's the way it has to be done. When, you run into a situation like this, we think we did it the right way, she kept in constant contact with our office, and as soon as they could get it done, they got it done, and released it. Yes, sir, Mr. Tolfree?
Question. It seems like every frost, freeze, or anything that happens, that substation in Del Air, limbs of the trees fall across it and knock the power out.
That actually did happen on the windstorm, straight line wind, I don't know what they declared that as, the day or two before the freeze, yes.
Yeah, but it happens quite, anytime a bad storm comes in. What is the purpose of that substation?
That, collects all the wastewater from that area and pumps it to Washington George Street pump station, and then it steadily just pumps it across town.
So if it's down, what's
Then, if we're not pumping, when we have a matter of time there before we have an overflow issue. And that also creates issues for residents in their houses.
okay?
Any other question for tonight? We just want to make sure everybody understood, why it happened, and, this don't happen often, but it can happen.
We appreciate your coming.
Thank you.
Thank you tonight.
Do you have a call?
All right, I'm gonna ask the council to amend the agenda. I'm gonna do it here under this Alderman recognized, but I think this would be a good place to do it. We've got a couple of guests here, and I wanna talk about, the item under the Ways and Means Committee, Councilmember Henderson, the land purchase, industrial land purchase. And I've got, the guest here, I got actually two that I wanna have say something to you about this. Could I get a motion to move it to this point?
I move that we move, item, letter K, property, no, number 2, land purchase, to move up to item number B on the agenda.
Okay, that's an appropriate measure. Second?
Second.
Okay. Any question or discussion? This is just moving the agenda items. All in favor, show of hands. I see 5 in favor. I am very happy to have with us Mr. Mark Conine. Mr. Director, would you stand? If you don't mind, just step on up here.
Sure.
I've also got our county judge. If y'all don't know who he is, he's in a lot of trouble, is all I can say.
I'll stay in trouble.
Judge, you mind just coming on up too at the same time? Now, Mr. Conine is the director of the Arkansas Development Finance Authority, and without trying to, do a lot of, whispering in his ear too hard, but I do want to thank this agency has been extremely helpful over the years to the city of Warren in a lot of different ways, and we're very grateful for that. Now, I think, without dragging this way out, I got something else to hand out. Judge, you wanna do it?
You don't want her.
Each one of those is, different.
You don't want her
Now,
out.
council members, some of y'all have seen this, I think,
Thank you,
but I
Judge.
made more copies of it. This is the amortization schedule
Thank you, Judge.
on some property east of town.
She's thinking you.
But she give out, you don't want it all day.
That's,
Thank you.
yeah, bring the rest of it back to me, if you would, please. This discussion has been underway, by the Bradley County Economic Development Commission, which of course is a nonprofit entity that works for economic development in the community, all of Bradley County, but certainly Warren. We're about out of industrial land to market. Now, not totally yet, but we hope we're about out of it. We got several projects going. I think city council's aware of most of them. Now, they all hadn't come through yet, so I'm not telling you it's all of them's a done deal, but we feel real positive we got some good things happening. If they all happen, we're gonna need some more land. And, property has been located, on the east side of town, out there near where we call it the Greg's property, which is already an industrial site that we've got a client looking at seriously. There's 110 acres out there, and I know there's been discussion from the council that we might look to see what other type of lands are available as well. But I did want to tell you that what we went ahead and did, we asked ADFA to put together an amortization schedule for purchasing the 110 acres, at least in round figures. And that's what Mr. Conine is here to talk to you about. And this is specifically aimed at the property out here on the east side of town. You've got in your packet there, you've got a deal that says 10 years, one that says 15, and one that says 20. And it gives you the amortization schedule. And I just wanted to ask Mr. Conine if you could just briefly explain how this would work, and if we chose any of these options, you know, what it would cost us. And this is borrowing money from ADFA, which is a state, I call it the state bank, but anyway, you can explain that a little bit if you would.
Yeah.
And then see if they got any questions.
Yeah, sure. Council members and Mayor Reed, thank you, for allowing me to be here. Judge McKinney, pleasure to meet you. And, ADFA, keep it short, we are a state agency, we don't get state funding, so we're self-funded. We do all kinds of things, we issue tax exempt bonds and do affordable housing projects and all kinds of different finance work. And so any money that we would be loaning you, would be from money that we have made through bond issuances or various things across the state. So we do not receive general revenue tax dollars, and so we would not be loaning you your own tax dollars, state tax dollars, or anybody else's, for that matter. And so we don't get general revenue or we don't get special revenue. Okay, so just want you to know, I'm not turning around and loaning you tax dollars. And so what we put together here was like a kind of a 10 and 15-year amortization schedule of what it would cost the city of Warren to allow us to lend that money to you. And what we did, I believe what he showed you, is we originally talked about if the land cost around 1.1 million, and then you sold a parcel of it, because I'm understanding there's an interested party, or a very interested party, that may purchase some land for somewhere around 400 to 450,000. And so we have that down. You'll see a $400,000 payment there sometime in year one. So that would, of course, knock the balance down to about 700,000 going forward. Now, if you sold some more land, of course, it would go down. How this would work is we would loan that money to you for the first year. We're not going to charge any interest, right? So it doesn't cost you anything. And then also, you're not making any payments. And then we also don't capitalize that interest. So it's not like we're charging it and then you don't pay us and then year two we put it on the loan. That's how it works in our personal lives, right? But that's not what we do here. It's just you're using the money for free with no payments, with no interest for a year. That allows you to go out and solicit business, try to get people to come into Warren and buy the property, okay? And so that's really the gist of it. There's nothing behind this There's no fees, we're not charging the city of Warren anything, you're not gonna get a bill for anything from us, you have my word. So you would pay your own legal costs, or if you have a city general counsel, would take care of that, we would take care of everything on our end, right? So we would just as you see it, that's how it's gonna work. There's no surprises, we're not gonna send you a bill for anything, or of that matter. We are, in our statute, we are allowed to own property, we're also allowed to loan a city or municipality money, or issue bonds for them, so we have the authority to do this, okay? So, just wanna, let you know that, and then, so, I'll answer any questions you may have. But my reason for being here was, we've worked with the city of Warren for several years on different things, and, you know, my job is to try to spur economic growth in the state. And that's why I get paid, that's what we're supposed to do, so that's why I'm here, because I wanna see, I'm from Arkadelphia originally, and so, you know, we wanna see not just central Arkansas or northwest or the Jonesboro area, but we wanna see the whole state grow. You know, we have a lot of emphasis on, rural areas in the state, and so, I wanna see this work, I wanna come down here to a ribbon cutting, you know? I go to those around the state, and it's fun to go to a place and, you know, you guys are cutting ribbon and stuff, so. I'll answer any questions you have, very transparent.
Council may have some, and I'll give them a chance. Judge, would you hand this map out also? I think that's the map we agreed on, the best one is. And hand them one of those. That's the property we're talking about. I'm gonna let the judge
This is no.
explain that. But would you tell the council, what these amortization schedules, what interest rate are they based on?
Yeah, that is based on either 10 or 15-year payback on the 3% interest rate. And then what I like to do is when I show you something, I don't like to come back later and change it. So here's kind of what I'd like to say. The rate will not be more than 3%. So I don't care how high the rates go, okay? So you don't have to worry about if the rate changing, but if the rates go down on our side, on our end, then we will lower the rate. So the rate will not exceed 3%, but it could go down.
So the numbers they're looking at
That's
is
the highest.
based on 3%.
Yes, that's based on 3%, and that's the highest that it will be. So,
Okay,
Councilmember Henderson?
I'm just looking at all three and just getting this tonight, and I'm a visual person. But the 10-year, the 15-year, and the 20-year, the payment numbers are all the same. The interest rate for the 10-year, the 15, and the 20-year is going to be the same, which is the 3% that you just shared.
That's correct.
And then the monthly payments in the right-hand corner on the spreadsheets would vary depending upon the number of years.
That's right, and we figured in here that somewhere in the first year that you'd sell one of the parcels for $400,000. So when the payment started in month 13, you'd be paying on, $700,000 versus 1.1 million. And I do wanna say too, when you're looking at this, to fit it in your city budget, we'll do it however you wanna do it. So if you wanna do 11 or 12 or 13 or 14 or 17, we can do that as well. I was just kind of showing you, it's easier to look at it, you know. So we can do it for any amount. So if you say, hey, we'd like to drop it another couple of thousand, we'll say, okay, we'll take the amortization up a couple of years.
It can be adjusted. Now, council, and then I'm gonna ask the judge if he would answer any questions, kind of explain to y'all where this property is. There's been a lot of questions about that, and I wanna make sure y'all understand it. When we set our budget for this year, 2024, we did put numbers in the budget. That's, nothing gets spent till y'all approve this. But we did put money in the budget for the 15-year payout. You've got one that got written 15 years up there. That would be just for the first year now. We put the money in there for the first year.
You can only budget for 1 year.
That's right, that's right. But nevertheless, just remind everybody of that, but again, that can be changed in any way it needs to be. Does anybody else have a question at this point for Mr. Conine? Judge, could you, as briefly as you can,
Try to.
make sure they understand where this property is that
Kind
we're
of looking
talking
at
about?
your paper here, in front of you here, here's, This is a north bypass. This road here is Bradley 23, kind of a North Bradley Road. As you make the curve, here's the, gravel road that was put in to the old co-op. Where everybody knows, you kind of see this road here. Then you follow on up to, about the corner, there's, this field here now that, Dr. Pennington owns now is cleared and filled. So this property that we're talking about, the mayor is from right where this other section of land right here, as you see, right here, kind of this section, this is the Griggs property, what the mayor's speaking of, and that's the property that the BDC's been operating on, that we've been, and the mayor's been here, the previous mayor, we worked together on this, and we have, initially, got a lot of stuff working on. You know, it's not a deal until it's a deal, but we're very.
And that property is owned by BCEDC, not the city, what he's talking about
So,
right there.
we've got a plant that's looking there to even expand to more land that may be available too. But, the property we're talking about goes to about there, straight, this line you see here is the railroad track. You see right here, this, right through this part right here, from this point right here, this point right here, that's the railroad track. Everything north of the railroad track, all the way to the co-op, all the way to the end of this road, roughly 110 acres or whatever, is very unique property for Bradley County or for Warren. You think, well, we got land everywhere. Really, for Bradley County, for economic development, we're land poor. In other words, just because you have 40 acres or 100 acres over here, and this man here can more verify than I do, but my 7 years that I've been in it, all land's not equal. This is so unique because whenever we have, and I will appreciate, and the mayor didn't pay me this, but me and the mayor's worked together on these projects since he's been, and he's been a joy to work with, and we're gonna make something happen. I think it's gonna happen soon. But the key here is that on any economic development, they wanna know what kind of highway, how far are you from a main access, what kind of water, what kind of railroad. There's so much equipped stuff now because the cost of freight is so great when you're moving. You know, they wanna know all these things. And we have this service that would come through here in town that we could, you know, add service to as these plants and other entities come in. You know, we could, they could attach to that. And so what that makes us very well is another thing too. This property is above floodplain. There's no creeks on it. There's no, you know, it's not anything. It's 100% usable. You know, whereas most places around town, 40 acres, you're gonna have a creek, you're gonna have certain, that may be only a portion of it that could be used for economic development. This 110 acres can be used every acre of it. Very unique, to be able to have a piece of property, and I know this man can tell you more than that, cause it's just, you're gonna have a creek, you're gonna have a stream, you're gonna have a road crossing, you're gonna have something, but this is all one continuous piece of property south of the bypass to the railroad track, that whole over a mile long, that, is gonna be very, very attractive for businesses to come. And like I say, the mayor, we've worked on some more stuff that, I hope will work together, but it's, really, and, I've even talked about the Riggs property before it's to the home court. You have to have a vision. The people that was city council, probably all of y'all, that purchased this stuff, whenever it was, you didn't know, it was just woods out there, the bypass wasn't there, wasn't nothing there, it was just a piece of property next to railroad track. Had a vision, and to that vision, X number of years ago, look where we're at. There's very possible that we could put something that could change Warren and Bradley County. It took vision from people like y'all and then to see that we need this. Now, 25, 30, I don't know when it was made, you may know, it might have been, but you see what I'm saying? You have to look down the road. It's probably not gonna be in our lifetime or whatever, but what happened 30 years ago, 25, they bought a piece of property that didn't have a bypass, didn't have a road to it, didn't have nothing. But guess what? It's very possible that that piece of land could change Warren and Bradley County forever. that's what I wanna talk about when the mayor come to me, is that, hey, we got an opportunity here that only come by for a little while. And so, you know, this is
Let
just.
me, if I could, the questions, first of all.
Could you show it to me on
I'm
here?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm still not seeing
I'm
it.
sorry.
Is it this little line here that you're
Yes,
talking
ma'am,
about?
this is, it's shaped like this, this is north, here's the bypass, this is the road that they built, I think, Judge Rice built this into the co-op. This is the railroad track. This property goes from right here all the way down, almost 5,400 feet long. It follows this area here, you have bypass, there's already, there's 4 or 5 accesses. This is a limited access highway, so you can't just put access where you want it. So there's already 4 access, so theoretically, if this plant needs more room, or then, the mayor has got a chance to maybe sell the 400,000 here, then we still have enough land there that these other jobs are gonna be, you know, acquainted with it or be used in that same type of, you know, it's what it amounts to. If we ever land one, I think it'd be easy to get 3. You get my drift. Now, if we can ever land one, because it's just in here, this man here knows way more about it than I do, but in 7 years working with it since I've been here.
Let me say, council members, of course, we still have a small amount of acreage out at our industrial park on the south part of town. Just in round figures, about 30 acres is what we still have that something's not already owned. Of course, that includes the old poultry plant, which, you know, we're working diligently to get something there, but we've also got people that are looking at the 30 acres for a little smaller type operation, but nevertheless, it would certainly,
Remember?
yeah, our cup runneth over at the moment as far as potentials, but I don't wanna lie to anybody. We don't have any of this signed in ink, okay? But we are talking to some people that are dead serious about 3 or 4 different operations. And I don't mind telling you, most of it's wood products oriented, because I think y'all all know this and our people know that. That's our raw material. That's what we have in this part of the country, is trees and timber. And it's all kinds of different products being made out of this stuff now, and so that's what we're working on.
Value added.
Exactly, Mr. Tollfree, you got it. Now, I don't wanna drag this out, but I do know that the council is aware that, the Burbage properties, which is several locations around the county, has got some land that's coming up, as an auction. You have to bid on that. Some of it is south of our current industrial park out here.
About 400 acres, 300,
Yeah,
something like that.
But I'm gonna tell you, some of that I think is in some flood zone.
It is, a good portion of it is.
And while there is a railroad track out there, it is not being used, it is not in good condition. It would take massive improvements to that rail, even if you did work something out there on that. I just want y'all to know that. I'm researching if we could even bid on how we'd go about doing something like that. Y'all would probably have to give me some dollar figure. But this property out here, as the judge says, and I'm convinced of it, is absolutely much more ready to be used for industrial development. I know there's been some concern about the stated price. Judge, would you address that? Because I know there's, I think there's been some property sold
Yes.
in the area along the same amount.
Yes, some of the property, one of the companies that we talked to on this have had some appraisal work done, for their property that we've looked at here. And, they've hired people to, come in and look at other, of course, we know different sales, and basically what that is sales that are comparable to what's in here, which is nothing really that's been sold on this north end like that. But basically, that, property here is right in contact of what they're saying it is. Cause you gotta say, think about, if you was to, this property's ready to go. In other words, most of it's open patch, some little trees on it. Say like if we was to get some property for a third of that cost south of the other property, and we have to go, and it takes $1 million to build a railroad track to get to it, or build a road that may cost $1 million. Next thing you know, you got 2 more million already invested in the same land. We've already got a state highway that's already built. We already have a 6-inch water line in place. We have city sewer at this very corner right here. As you come off Catmore Road, right here, y'all have already, put, sewer to that on this property. So all of this continues with that. So you can see when you break it down of what you have here, that the property is in, close to what we're looking at, you know, one of the appraisals. I think on the south end of town, there was some property sold that was over $8,000–9,000. It has no railroad, didn't even have any service, didn't even have any power line to it. So you can see that this, you know, might think, wow, but if you had to build and get this to that facility, you know, $1,000 an acre won't even go nowhere. So you can see that the value is what's already there, not just, you know what I'm saying? Yes, ma'am.
Question. Well, this railroad is coming through here?
Yes, ma'am, this
This
is,
is not functioning through here.
yes, ma'am, that's the railroad track that feeds right here in town.
Okay.
This comes all the way through, comes from Monticello, comes right all the way in, here's the co-op, and comes
I was
right by
thinking
the.
about this section of Cowboy Road.
No, that Capitol Road, yeah,
This
this,
section there.
yes, the land, here's Capitol Road, and it's about 50 yards behind those houses is the property line that goes, you know, the 80,
Y'all
60.
see what he's talking about?
Land.
Yeah, he showed it to me, cause I was
And,
lost too.
yeah,
because
but
I couldn't-
that's a railroad, and what's key about that is it'd be very easy for us to, say a plant is here, one down here at this end, then if they need extra cars, we could go in and, have extra rail services coming in. So basically, we could have multiple, businesses there operating on that rail.
This rail, to everything pretty well we're working on right now, that rail is important.
Well, it's, when you take the product here and you're moving it to say, New Orleans or Mobile to be able to get it to the other, you know, other word, and everything is all cost. And every time you touch it and every time you move it, it costs money. And whenever they build a plant, they have their cost already built in of what it's gonna take to get material from one point A to point B. And if there's any way, and that rail right there is the key, that's what they wanna know.
Let me judge if I could, just, I'm not trying to cut you off, your points are the right spot,
Let me
but I
go
wanna,
on. Quick talk.
I wanna ask, Mr. Conan before he gets away from us. Now, I know this is all, these amortization schedules are set up starting 1/1 of 24, obviously, we're already past that, so when would we start, let's just assume, let's just make an assumption that we use the 15-year deal. So, when would we start paying on this? Once we made the deal and
Yeah.
borrowed the money and bought the land?
And once you, you know, got the money and went to the, you know, closing table, essentially, you know, went to the title company and purchased the land, and you would just start that next month, would be month 1, but you wouldn't know that payment until that 13th month. So it'd be from the time we closed on the property till you got title to it, that your first payment would be the beginning of the 13th month.
Okay,
So it would basically be March of 25.
so you can see that on those, each one of those schedules are set up that way, you don't, now, he's got the $400,000 in there because we believe we have a real live prospect. It's not a major industrial deal, but it is a processing facility that wants on that rail. And if they were to buy, I think it's about 40 acres roughly, if I can remember correctly what they were interested in, and they would pay for it, and we would take that, of course, and pay down on the note. If we don't get that, then, you know, you gotta adjust the cost is gonna be up, because you won't have the 400,000 unless you make some other kind of deal, within that time period. So I'm gonna be honest with everybody about that. we're hopeful that's gonna happen, but we certainly can't make it happen until we own the property.
One thing that I'll add is on, you know, you guys as council members may be a little overwhelmed because you start thinking about purchasing land, rail spurs and all that type of thing. And we also, can finance the rail spur, and we actually have a couple that we have financed that are on our books now. And so, we have some relationships with some of the short railroads. I think this one, let me speak out of turn because I'm not a railroad expert, but I think this one's Genesee and Wyoming. Yeah. And so,
They actually own that part of the track.
yeah,
The rest of it, you know, is big mainline, but actually the part here, we've already, my mayor.
They tie into
said-
Union
They
Pacific,
got,
over east.
my mayor said has already met with them
okay.
about those process and all, and they've been very good to work with on this as far as planning and doing all that kind of stuff, if it ever comes about, they're really.
Let's see if we got any other questions right now for either one of these gentlemen, or for me. What this is all about, and council members, I know I'm preaching to the choir when I talk to y'all, cause we're trying to get jobs into this community. New jobs. This is what this is about. This is not just trying to buy some land just because we'd like to have some land, you know, to put out there. We're trying to create new jobs. Hopefully, we got some things in the works, but if those things work out, or at least most of them do, we're not gonna have much to offer anybody. And one thing I have found in this industrial recruitment business, you better have something to sell or something to provide, because if you don't, they go somewhere else and then found something.
Somebody else does.
Okay? So, I mean, it's just a matter of fact, it's just the way it is. And if we want to plan for the future, hopefully take advantage of what we already got, but then have something for the future, we're gonna have to do something. I'm open to everybody's suggestions, but if we're serious about this economic development business, and let me assure you, and I wanna repay the kind words of the judge, he and I sat down in January when I came into office. Of course, he's already been there a few years. And we had a heart-to-heart discussion, Judge. I don't think I'm giving any confidences away when I say this, that the two of us, working with everybody there was to work with out there, we're gonna get off our chairs and get to working and recruiting. And with some help of local existing industry, I might add, we've come across some people that we are really working hard to try to get them to come here. Now, it's not gonna be a Toyota plant that works 500 people, but it is gonna be a good number of jobs if any or all of them come through, and we're talking a fairly massive amount of investment for this community, I promise you, a lot of investment. So that's what we're all about, and I know y'all are too, I know that. But I just want you to know what we're working on, what we're trying to do. Questions?
Just for
Yes,
clarification,
ma'am.
and thank you for showing me, because I was completely lost on the map. But the 110 acres is all usable, is what I
That's
heard
right,
you say.
that's right. That's what I wanted to, talk about a while ago. If you just drive around, y'all all live here, just drive around Warren and look. And you got a plot of land here, then there's always a piece of it that's got a creek run through it, it's got other things to do. This property here can use every acre of it. It has no creeks, no drains, it don't have any, any kind of environmental impact statement that we'd have to deal with, or, to mitigate that. I mean, you could literally start digging a foundation anytime. In other words, nothing else has had to happen, because we have water there, we have the highways already there, and you have the sewer on the very southeast corner, which, right here, at this property right here, right off Cowboy Road, it's already on the property. So we have the potential there, to add to that, so that's what makes this so valuable, because there's not any other property in Warren that has this capable to have a 5,000 foot railroad plus could possibly, through other avenues, if it grew that way, to have another 5,000 feet of rail spur that could handle up to 150 more cars, or we could even be a double spur, you'd have 10,000 feet of rail car. So, you know, it just depends on what we have. It's a very unique piece of property.
Council, you know, as the crow flies, it's not even that far from our sewer plant. So you're not talking about a massive, you know, a lot of other infrastructure, pump stations, a whole bunch of different things in different parts of town, you know, we have to pump sewer quite a distance. Well, this wouldn't be the case for, you know, it's just regular sewer. Now, if you got into some kind of major thing that needed special treatment, that'd be something we'd have to deal with, but just for just regular
With all the,
sewer, it's just not gonna be that much.
all the several, the 3 different or 4 different people that myself and the mayor's talked to, none of them are heavy,
No, they're not looking
heavy
for,
sewage use. In other words, they're gonna use water for fire protection, but they're not gonna be, a lot of water usage in their plant that they use that's gonna create a lot, which that's a good thing for us, you know, so. Not saying nothing would change, but as of what we're talking to now, they're not really gonna, other than use bathrooms and just normal sewage water, that's great, because that's less we have to deal with. It's not in their process.
It's all on one parcel of land,
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
all on one parcel.
Yes, ma'am, that's 110 acres, all continuously, yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, my question is, to Mr. Cornine. Okay, so the next steps for the council of the city would be moving forward with, going to the title company and moving forward with the property and then coming to you.
That's right, you would just need to get a, you know, especially since it's kind of like a sister, you know, agency here, if you will, with the, Economic Development Commission. If you could just get an option to purchase the land, you know, you could do, I have a board that's appointed by the governor, and so what you do is you get an option to purchase the land, and I would take that, we meet every month, and so I would take that to my board and get that approved.
I think we went through that pretty.
Yeah. And then at that point, I mean, you know, you're gonna just do all the things you need to do to close on a piece of property, just like you buy a home. Right?
Council members, this is very important. This is always y'all's call, but it's my, if we're gonna buy this, the city's gonna own it. Now, we'll work with the BCDC and everybody else that won't, you know, that might recruit some or find somebody. But we're talking about us, city.
I didn't know we were contemplating anything.
Well, I just wanna make that clear to everybody. I know we've talked about this before. Which means you would decide ultimately what's done with it, or what it's sold for, or who it's sold to, or anything like that as far as industrial development. Just making sure everybody's on the front page here of how we're talking about doing this. We know for it, we the city would own it.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, I appreciate you both. I know you had a bad night, we made you drive down here and everything, you very kind.
Glad to be here.
He's been to Warren before, but we appreciate Mr. Conine and his staff. Have been terrific to us, they're working with us on some other things, as well, but this, and I wanna talk to you sometime about this housing, what y'all can do on housing development. I'm just throwing that out there too, that's something we need to talk about separately, but we'll do that in the future, but, and Judge, thank you for all your cooperation and your help, and, I'm glad you came to watch how the meeting really gets run and everything, maybe you learn something out of it, okay? That's a joke, everybody.
I told him beforehand, I said, if I brought a 3-page agenda to my bunch, I think they'd run me off. So anyway, God bless.
Thank y'all.
I do want to mention, I'm going to, leaving now, and we're going to Miss, Hugh Allen, Quimby's wife.
Yes, yes.
And, passed away.
I think most of y'all know.
Everybody knows Hugh, a great public servant.
Yes.
And we need to remember him in this thing. God bless.
Thank y'all. Conine, thank you so very much for making the trip, and we'll be in touch.
If you guys have any questions, council members, you can, if you
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, council members, I'm gonna try to pick up the pace here. I know this is a lot of things to deal with. But all remember, y'all have anybody you need to recognize to speak? Do we have anybody signed in to speak? Okay, we're gonna move quickly. Administrative, standing committee reports, police chief. Hope you're still out there. Come on in, chief. They got, you can, here, just hand all that stuff back over there. They've got your report, but anything you need to tell them and see if they got any questions.
Well, no, so what I can do, have a couple of changes with this report that's been drafted. Well, it reads, we are currently full staff in patrol division. Technically, we are, but we did have one officer that decided to go part-time for a while. He had some personal issues, part-time hours. But we are in the process of hiring another certified officer that put his application in, we're in the process of doing his background check. So hopefully within the next week, we'll have a civil service meeting and replace that officer. We're also gonna have another officer that Andrew is going part-time, he's opening up his own business in town, so he's gonna work part-time for us, so. We are at full staff, but we're not at full staff, so the two part-time and the new one hire, we'll get full staff. And also, we're able to, locate our animal control vehicle. 2018 Dodge Ram,
What year?
yes,
What year?
2018.
18.
Like 75,000 miles on it. So we got it for, I don't know what it is, she got approved, like 1994.
Okay? Questions for the chief? I don't let me rush you, but I just want to try to move on here as quick as we can.
How much the check was?
1990.
Okay? Chief, anything?
No.
Any questions for the chief on anything? All right, chief, thank you so much. Hang on. The police committee.
His vehicle report looks really great, $454.
Makes you smile, don't it?
Uh-oh.
Wait a minute.
The balance on the layout.
Something that happened
Yes,
here.
ma'am.
Okay.
We have a few nicks and dings on it, so I can assure you it's gonna be totally different next month.
Don't put it on the extra money on the land.
Councilmember Henderson's always looking at the money. She's paying attention, I promise. Thank you. All right, police committee, Alderman Burks Frazier's not here. The committee has not met. Does anybody have anything they need to report for her or anything? We will try to have them on those items in the future. Fire chief?
Good evening.
Good evening.
The Warren Fire Department 2013 calls during the month of January. We had 2 extrication calls that were toned out, the 2 structure fires that were toned out. Total payroll, volunteer payroll for the month was $24.75. During the January 12th tornado, we responded to 8 different calls that morning. We conducted a damage assessment after the fact, and we had 8 structures destroyed, 20 were damaged in some way, and 2 injuries. Kind of a busy period. And then during the winter storm and water crisis, we kept 2 firefighters on duty at the station in place of 1 to make sure we had everything covered. So we have had a busy month. We got all our equipment in that we got off the grant. It's all operable and on the trucks and compressors going, and there we go.
Council members, let me kind of a point of personal privilege, tell y'all the chief mentioned the storm, because there was a good bit of damage. The weather service still won't tell us we had a tornado, but nevertheless, we had a lot of damage. Of course, there was no warnings issued, nothing went through our system. The judge is already gone, but I did talk to him because I was trying to get a declaration of disaster, even just for the limited, part of town that was really affected, so we could maybe get some help for the individual property owners that we're unable to do ourselves, as well as maybe reimburse us a little bit for cleaning up streets and moving trees and what have you. The judge did make a request to the state, has to go through him. And while I do not have this in writing, I am told, I'll quote, "You're not a big enough disaster for us."
I thought it was actually a tornado, but it wasn't.
Never been certified as such. And everybody I talked to that was out there was assure me it was, and it sure looked like it, the results.
Yeah, you can look at the route and the damage, it wouldn't stay like.
But that's, the State Department of Emergency Management, now, I haven't got that, I've asked for that in writing, that they're not gonna, give us any assistance. But I don't have that yet, but I'm gonna insist upon it, but,
You talked to our state representatives?
I have not at this point, I probably will do that, yes. I was trying to just go through the normal procedure, and, but so far that hadn't worked. Now, we're still trying to help everybody the best we can, but I'm talking about, maybe some low interest loans, of cleaning up their own property, things that, technically we really just can't do.
We don't have the.
We don't even have the equipment right now to do it. But of course, we did do a lot of work on clearing streets and stuff like that, but, anyway, I wanna let y'all know that. Chief, anything else? I think he's got all that. Now, you'll hang around a minute, Mr. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just wanted to share with you that I saw your mentor, Chief, at the Municipal League Convention, and he's really enjoying the fellowship.
I ran into him the other day, he told me the same thing. So, y'all apparently made friends, so that's good, appreciate it. All right, Mr. Toll-Free, I don't believe your committee's met, but we did list a couple of things. These are kind of routine matters, but, one of them is our state firefighter dues, or is it Southeast Arkansas, which is it?
No, it's the same.
Same thing? Are we talking about $700? Is that what that means in this?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I'm asking y'all to approve that.
I make a motion to approve $700 for the dues.
Okay, I think Alderman Henderson beat you. You'll be faster. Beat you to it. On the second, question or discussion on the motion. All in favor, show of hands. I see 5 in favor. And likewise, we're asking to send 4 firemen to attend the Firefighters Association meeting.
How much?
I don't know if we got an exact figure, but
It's,
whatever registration and any expenses would be,
thing.
$300 at least.
Registration and what?
Well, travel or,
Vehicle, travel, registration.
They don't spend the night?
Yes, they do, that's what they
Yeah,
said, it's like,
lodging.
yeah, they'll be there like Thursday night, Friday night, something like that.
Will you be one of the 4?
If I can, I will, I think I got 4 that want to go, and if they wanna go, I'm gonna let them go.
But you need to be there as well.
Well, if I need to, I'll come back and ask for that.
So why should we not include the
you
chief?
can, you can
It's 5.
Yes.
authorize it, we'll go from there.
Well, I make a motion, we, give, the dues, the cost, the registration, travel, and also the lodging for 5 to go to the, attend the Firefighters Association convention.
And what about per diem so that they can eat?
I thought that was with the lodging, meals and lodging, and also meals. Yeah.
They will have to bring appropriate, receipts back, showing what they spent, I promise you.
I second
Well, that's my motion.
Motion's made, Ms. Toll-Free, second by Ms. Marshall. Any question or discussion on that motion? All in favor, show of hands. I see 5 in favor. Thank y'all. Chief, thank you.
Well,
We appreciate it.
one last piece of business. If, we can all get on the same page, we'll have a committee meeting this Thursday at 4:30. Now,
Okay.
let Miss Charlotte know, when I get some confirmation.
This Thursday at 4,
4:30,
4:30.
and get Miss Henderson,
I don't get off from work.
yeah, I don't wanna lose a job.
I
Uh-oh.
don't wanna take leave either.
We will see if we can set that up for you, Ms. Toll-Free.
Whatever you say.
We'll see.
All right,
Is that all
council.
right for you?
Mr. Johnson, you're up.
Be 4:35, so we're on
He wants it at 4 o'clock.
I see him, well, go.
5, okay, 5.
Well,
Y'all work it out and let us know and we'll see.
Thursday, 5, Charlotte, come in sharp.
I knew 4 o'clock wasn't good for me.
Okay. Mr. Johnson, let's go with the, sanitation manager report first.
All right, any questions with anything you got there, Friday? Glad to answer them. All equipment working good. Things seem to be going okay in the sanitation department.
Buddy, got any questions? Council member Atkins, the chairman of the sanitation committee, we would like to try to set a meeting with your committee to really talk some serious recycling issues and also update you on what we believe is still happening in Chico County with that, which is probably a couple of years away. But we do want to brief you on all that, so you just let us know when. Okay. Okay, let's go on with building official.
There's the building permits there in front of you, what was issued this month. Any questions on any of that?
Does everybody have that? Y'all have it?
We do.
Mine mixed up. Oh, I got it, I'm sorry. I got it. Okay, you've got a property cleanup update.
Oh, yes, sir. That's it.
Let's make sure they know what all that is.
Oh, now what we sent out, y'all have the letters that were sent out in January? Y'all have?
Since January 2024.
Okay. All of those have been notified by letter, nothing's been done to any of them yet. Well, let me rephrase that, 2 of them have been cleaned up since letters have been sent out.
Which two?
Number 3 and number 6, Jonathan Gonzalez and Michael Diane,
Those are done.
and that was 602 Cherry instead of 620.
602 Cherry, okay.
The property that was on Rock Street and Phillip Street, which belonged to Jacobs, no work has been done at either one of them, so we will go forward. And as y'all requested me to, last city council meeting, we gave them another 30 days. We went back around each property Friday, informed them, try to get something done, so we'll do what's.
Were you able to visit with it?
I was unable to visit with Mr. Jacobs, but I talked to a resident there, and I was able to talk to the person on Rock Street. And went by there again today, and there has not been anything done as far as today either. So we will go forward with the process of condemnation of most of the properties as far as getting them cleaned up.
Now, what still needs to be done to the 2 properties?
Well,
Just for the council's information, let's be clear on, I think the one on Phillips first.
Philip, a general cleanup of the property, it just needs to be a general cleanup. We've got some abandoned automobiles, the houses needs some work done to it, and the whole property needs to be cleaned up and stuff hauled off. The same way with Rock Street, however, we have someone living at Rock Street with no lights, no water, and, the house and the property around it, of the property of the house sitting on is in pretty bad shape also.
Is someone living in Phillip Street?
Yes, ma'am.
Council, do y'all have any final desires as to how we handle this?
Joel, have you been in contact with Mr. Jacobs?
Yeah, I thought he was working on it, he was putting sheetrock up and working on the roof and cleaned up, so
They did move some of the vehicles have been moved. But is he there?
yes.
He's in the house?
We have made a concentrated effort to personally get in touch with him, and we can't seem to.
Well, during the daytime, you won't be able to get him, he's working, driving the truck.
Since this first came down, of course, this may or may not have anything, it's caused a few more problems with some animals that have been placed on the property by some of the neighbors in the neighborhood. They got horses on ropes, and, which is not helping the situation with the person that originally made a complaint. I don't have the name of the person that originally made a complaint, I do have the original complaint in my office. But the situation, it's, getting worse, correct.
We're gonna proceed on unless y'all tell us to do something different. Okay. Let's see what else we got there. Does that cover everything for you, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, sir.
Any questions for Mr. Johnson on the building codes, solid waste, anything?
I thought about the city this weekend, I guess you was out looking for some of these people, but, the, substation for the water department in Bel Air. And that, excuse me, that piece of property is not being used right there, that the electric line goes through to the substation. It's all, I had come to you a while back about it, and some guy, somewhere you ain't never been able to catch up with, forget what his name was, that owned it. And you never could catch him, but it's causing the city and the people down there a problem. Because every time any kind of wind or something come up, it knocks that electricity off to it. And, I was wondering, was there anything we could do to get that cleaned up or whatever could we do to get a right of way or something through there?
Do you know what you're talking about?
I know the substation he's talking about, I don't know the property owners around it, or who's in charge of the right of way to it.
Bel Air, Jackson Loop.
Yeah.
On the list of Jackson Loop.
Right, yeah, I'm familiar with what you're talking about, I don't know the property owners or who's responsible for the right of way.
Okay, I'll find out.
I mean, I can do
If you
that.
let us know which toll free, we'll certainly check on it.
Yeah, just, is there anything we could do, because it's causing a big problem.
If there's, limbs or trees on private property that are causing the problem, to the substation, I think we would have a right to
Oh, yeah.
intervene there and try to get something,
Yeah, 'cause
at
this
least
last,
get it cleaned up properly.
the last storm, it tore down the line, the pole, and all the utilities going to it. It was about almost 3 weeks before they got it fixed, because it tore the whole thing down.
I feel like that would be a water department issue, but I'll be glad to look at it.
Well, I went to them, they said they didn't have the wherewithal to be able to do the right of way. We'd have to come.
Mr. Tollfree, can you try to get us an answer, who owns the property, or,
I sure can.
or even necessary, meet Mr. Johnson out there and show it to him?
Partners don't have it anymore, because that's the first time he told me he couldn't find it, but now they don't want it anymore, I found the guy.
We will certainly look into it.
All right.
One other question, the mobile home on Cloquet Street,
Yes, ma'am,
they still, the renter is still in there?
to my knowledge, yes, ma'am.
Okay, what we gonna do?
Y'all tell me, I mean, I've talked to Mr., help me here,
Greg
Hackney.
Hackney, Greg Hackney.
till I'm blue in the face, I had nothing, I mean.
Can we file charges against him?
Yes, sir, yes, sir,
And I suggest we do just that.
Yeah, is the water still on?
yes, ma'am.
So this has been, what, about 3 months now, this has been going on without hurting one of the neighbors, so.
I can check the courthouse and see if it changed hands, they may have already purchased it, that's what he was going by, he said they was coming back from him a week later after I got on the phone.
Is that subject to coming before the planning commission
There was
again?
something in the minutes of the planning commission.
Has the planning commission acted on it?
No, sir.
About the mobile home.
Yeah, I think the guy said that he didn't know that he had to go before the planning commission. It's in the minutes of January 29th.
That was on another
Another one.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, council, rather than sitting here and, have a trial, let's, and I know y'all concerned about this, let's find out who it currently, still who it belongs to right now. And then let's, my thought would be we would notify them one more time and tell them that you either gonna do something or we're fixing to carry it to court.
Okay.
We'll get with our attorney and we'll see what we need to do. This kind of stuff should not drag on forever. they're not gonna abide by the law, and we've given them a lot of opportunity to do it. It's time to take whatever action we can take and try to get a court of law to enforce the law. Unless y'all see fit to do something different.
No.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Appreciate you mentioning that. Anything else, Mr. Johnson?
No, sir.
Anything, yeah, okay, thank you, Rob. Alright, street, foreman, I'm gonna try to really move here. You got 30 seconds, what do you wanna tell them?
See ya.
They're gonna have more time today, they don't wanna ask you something, but I'm gonna give you quickly.
According to the weather, you know, everything's been slowed down, but we are still trying to do what stuff we can do. This ice has created havoc on the roads. We're having to fill in potholes everywhere. We've also got 2 loggers, just to let y'all know, we've got, 2 logging crews that's moved into town, and both of them would happen to be right on the new asphalt we just laid a couple months ago.
No, seminary, yeah, seminary,
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's a mess.
We are trying to make them protected as
Right,
best we
that's
can.
correct. We got-
They did notify us it's gonna do it, but, you know, we tried to,
They are trying their best to do it, to, like the mayor said, to protect it. I've also took some, material down there and made some ramps,
Yes.
actually put over, the extra cushion over top of the asphalt. Some of it was broke, but it's nothing that can't be fixed, in a reasonable amount.
one of them things.
One of them things, you know, it always happens, you get something fixed up looking nice and something happens. It's just the way it is, and, we'll saddle this up and ride another horse another day.
You full staff?
Man,
You full staff?
yeah, well, I am running, ad for another part-time position.
Questions for the street foreman?
Yeah, what's going on, Pine and, I guess that street is Etheridge, where the road is completely closed off and they're having to like,
Another pump
It's just a
station.
lot.
Yeah, the pump station, one of the pipes on the pump station, created,
there's a lot of
Leak.
potholes on that street and people are coming in, and I guess we're not accustomed to people being a two-way there.
yes, ma'am.
So when do we anticipate?
That would be a water department issue. I talked with them, yesterday, or no, Friday. And, they wanna hold it off because they're not for sure if the pipe itself, that the repair took. So it was still some water before the rain. Just as soon as they give me the okay that the pipe is sealed off, then I'm going to
Open it
proceed
back
with,
up?
proceed to fix the roadway and open it
Yeah,
back
it
up.
looks like it's kind of torn up through there, but even on, after a street there, it's a lot of holes as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Our barricades have been removed a couple of times too.
Really?
Yeah.
I personally put them back up. But they seem to catch a little traffic out there sometimes. You folks just decide either to go through them or move them so they can drive on through, so.
Mark, see just how far they can knock a barrel. That has been notified.
Alright, we'll try to take care of that on Henderson as quick as we can, it is an issue. Questions for the,
Yeah, one other question, I know we've been here a long time, but in some of the cities, the street department have like, equipment that they can like do some of the asphalt, et cetera, themselves. Have you looked at any of that equipment just to see if we could utilize such services here?
I have not, as far as on the big scale, for us to be able to pave a street. I have looked into it as far as being able to use the hot mix to lay over some streets, places hot, basically. I have done that, I just don't think that I know we don't have enough equipment, and I don't think I have enough employees to properly.
But that would go with you know, hand in hand. Of course, you would not be able to do it with the current employees, but have you looked at what the cost would be to see what would be, advantageous?
Yes, ma'am, it's been a while back, but I can look into it and see what a smaller favor would, be, and, we'd have to truck our material in, which is what they do anyway, so. We do have a small roller we could use, but, we'd have to have a bigger roller also, so it's more equipment, more people.
But they are doing it in other cities.
Yes, ma'am, they are doing it in other cities.
I'll refer that to the, street committee. But I think it would be good,
Yeah.
because especially with the weather and all the potholes and the equipment of people cutting down trees in the areas, and, you know, you just replace, that particular area to get it to look better. And then now, I mean, it's a lot of crumbling there. And even where I'm speaking of on, Pine Street, where the water break is, I mean, that's
One issue we will run into there is the time that you only have a short season to lay the asphalt. This season, you can't lay asphalt, you can't find anybody that's making any asphalt because of temperature. So
Right.
that would be a summertime,
sure.
project, but yes, ma'am. I can look into it.
Anything else? All right, thank you. Street committee, anything you wanna report?
I was going to comment on the uniform. Do all of you have uniforms or just you?
All the full-time employees would have uniform, part-time or not.
So who paid for it?
City?
Good.
That way people will know,
They should be buying them
you
too.
know, who's on the street committee.
Well, we felt like it'd be good for our folks to be marked for a letter. Make sure everybody knows who they are when they're out there, so,
And if we have to go up to someone's house, you know, if we can identify by this, we can tell them who we are, but they still don't know. If you see a uniform and you just put people in more relaxed.
That's true. I think that's good.
you got street paving and Oak Street.
Yeah,
Speed
we're
breaks.
still looking into Oak Street on the speed bumps. We're going to ride streets. And again,
22nd.
22nd at 3:30. Well, if you can, meet us up here at the out front and we'll pile in one vehicle and go do some looking, see how much damage we had from, the ice and snow, so. Other than that, we're working on things.
All right. That it? Anything else for Mr. Ernstberger? All right, thank you, Monty. Councilmember Chairman Marshall, I know your committee wasn't able to meet. We've got several things on here. Some of them just kind of left off from, past discussions and a few new things. I did want to hand out, the committee can still look at this, take yourself.
I'll
Hand him one of them.
give her a break.
Alright, it's just a very quick nutshell of, how we plan to do the employee appreciation, for lack of a better way to call it, program. And, thank you. I just want y'all to have it, your committee can look at it later if you want to, and if you want something changed or something done different, we'll certainly look at it, but that's just kind of what we're proposing to do. Of course, department heads and other employees, we would take applications or suggestions from any of them on nominating somebody. And, we would, look into it from there.
Okay, I'm gonna schedule a meeting probably in the next 2 weeks
Okay,
and get with them.
we got several things to talk to you about, as you can see there on the agenda, but we'll update you then. Okay, anything else, Mr. Marshall?
I see where we got the
the deed description as far as the surveying done.
Yeah, it's just for your information, I wanted you to have that, we'll talk about that.
That's it.
We own a good bit of property. It almost goes up to that other building behind us, even the alley.
That's right way back there.
Yeah,
That's it for mine.
thank you, ma'am. Ways and Means, Councilmember Henderson.
The Ways and Means Committee met on February the 8th. I do not have any, items for, approval for tonight. However, on the agenda, you do see the property insurance. We're still awaiting full appraisal of the property. We ask that the full council meet as it relates the Arkansas Development, Finance Authority, as it relates, purchasing, land. And that happened tonight, and thank the council for, being here to hear the, presentation. And we did receive, an updated copy of the personnel policy to review. We are awaiting what the changes are, and we will have a, committee meeting to, review the actual changes, recommendations to the, personnel policy and practice manual for the city of Warren. We do have the remaining, balance, for the American Rescue dollars. We received, an itemized, amount for everything that we put in the budget, and listed, from our committee meeting. We have everything except for what it would cost for that depot, kitchen. But, according to this information, and it will change because we do get some interest on it, the remaining balance minus the, $58,500 for the old shop building, the $6,811 for the police, bulletproof glass, the police tackle gear, $6,800.
That's been spent, by the way, on, we just recently got that.
Okay, good. And the police cameras, 21,000, and the fire, turnout gear, 45,000. That came to 138,000, and $11, it looks like. And it leaves a remaining balance of $291,827.97. The roof of the, Emergency Service Center is leaking, and the approximate cost for it is $250,000. So possibly, that will be a discussion, we could utilize the funds, for that. We said, something that, our citizens could see and utilize, that would be something, as well as, streets, potholes, is the reason I mentioned the, paving and the roller, et cetera. So we will be meeting, and we will bring back to the council, recommendations after we receive, the update as it relates to personnel policy and the other items that I just previously mentioned.
Councilmember Henderson, I will certainly do whatever you see fit. We need to act on that roof situation.
Is it that bad?
Yes, ma'am, it's gonna get worse in a hurry, and I
Anybody
think our numbers are good there, what we're showing you, so
And you
I,
think it's $250,000?
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We've got an updated bid on it, we had bid it out, and then we went back and
You gave
checked
that
it.
to me? No.
Possibly I did not, but I can get that to you, yes.
Okay, cause I don't have that in my.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But it is 250,
Yes.
because you said approximately,
Well, I think the bid might have been 248 or something like that, but it's right at.
up to
Yes.
250. Okay, I move that, up to $250,000 be utilized for the emergency service roof that is leaking.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. I appreciate that. Is there question or discussion? We've been talking about this quite some time. We've also got problems on this building, but it's not quite as intense, and we need to get that one done. So any question, discussion?
And we do not have any, natural disaster funds that the insurance would pay on it.
I've tried that too. I've tried that too.
Okay, call for the vote.
Alright. All in favor, show of hands, that's to authorize the expenditure. Thank you, five in favor. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Alright, thank you for the report. Parks and Recreation, you've got the last commission meeting. Mr. Wagman is coaching Pee-wee basketball at the Y, so I gave him permission, he volunteers to do some of that, and, but of course, if you've got any question or something I need to get from him for you, let me know. We are progressing, it's about to open baseball season, believe it or not, don't feel like baseball season, but we're about to do it, and softball, and several other things going, but you have the report there. Planning Commission, I believe you've got their minutes of their last meeting, and they've got another one scheduled here, we're gonna try to make them meet a little more regular. You've got, any questions, just feel free. Then we go to the Aviation Commission, but we have a meeting scheduled for them. Nothing for tonight for you to review. My phone keeps talking to me. All right, Water and Sewer, you've got their, minutes of their last meeting and their financial balance sheets, current financials. Housing Authority has not met since your last meeting. Cultural Center, you've just got a few expenditures there. And we are very close to having a complete package of information for the council to look at about the Cultural Center. I had a long discussion with the Southeast Development District Director last week. She's got some ideas on what she thinks we can go after to get substantial money, but some things that hopefully we could put together. I will get all that for y'all to review. I'm just not gonna do it tonight, but I will have all that as soon as possible. It's gonna be a major undertaking, but it is doable.
But you think we would have to have matching funds?
Probably so. Probably have to have some matching money, but
Some
we'll.
in-kind and probably money?
Well, we talked about trying to make some in-kind, yeah. And, try to at least make it a minimum amount of cash.
But she felt real good about it?
Well, she said she had an idea, a plan. I don't know, I said she said. But we're gonna go to work on it anyway, but I will get y'all a complete update on that. All right, unfinished business, you just took care of the emergency services roof. We will be continuing to work on getting some funding for this roof on this building. New business, I had hoped we could, go ahead and move on our solar project, our financing part of the package, but because of the way the law requires some publications and things that they just couldn't have ready fast enough, we're just not there yet, so we may have a call meeting at some point, but if not, at least by the March council meeting. So just let you know on that.
But things are going well.
Things are moving forward, yes ma'am.
Well, I've seen a couple other municipalities trying to get under the wire here last week.
They are, and it's a tight squeeze right now because of some of the state legislation that's kind of pulled the rug out under this program, but hopefully we're gonna get in under the gun. Announcements, municipal building will be closed February the 19th in observance of President's Day holiday. We will pick up garbage citywide. We will pick up garbage, but municipal building will be closed. Point of personal privilege again, not on your agenda, but if you got your latest Municipal League magazine, I want everybody to notice that Councilmember Henderson is still on the First Class Cities Advisory Board, I believe. I know you've served on it before, but she's been reappointed to that, and I just wanted to point that out. Did you know that?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you did.
Y'all know if I still talk to you when I go up there?
Hopefully she'll still talk to
Well,
her.
I was on the executive committee and then moved to this committee.
Anyway, I just wanted to make that announcement, that's important. You've got our bills for January of 2024, we need to act on those.
Make a motion to pay the bill.
Second.
All right, I'm gonna take the second over here, you're still slow, you have practice. Yes. Question or discussion on any bill? You've got the complete list, but any question? All in favor of paying the bill, show of hands. I see 5 in favor. Your next meeting would be the agenda meeting on the 7th of March, and the 11th of March being the regular council meeting date. Anybody got another announcement or anything I'm forgetting that needs to be stated? Now, since y'all have given me the right to adjourn meetings by Robert's Rules of Order, this meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you all for your time and your patience.